Hello, students. This is Mrs. Phyllis coming to you to talk about some music theory, specifically flashcards, pitch cards, to be even more specific. So before we get into it though, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and like the video. Now, before I get into pitch cards, I want to share how much I love teaching music theory, specifically, beginner theory. Now, when you've come to me and we're ready to learn how to read music, I always start with identifying what notes look like, what kind of notes these are, right? By their name, and then we will even use funny syllables or words that go with the duration of each type of note. Oh, I have a double one there. And so, and then we'll even talk about rest values, right? Because for each note value, there is a rest value. And so we'll go through and talk about that. And then I move into rhythm patterns, which look like this. So these are examples of the different rhythm patterns based on those notes that you learned first. So as you can see, there are different, you can order the notes in different ways to come up with different patterns, and also the rest as well. You want to include the note pattern as well as rest, notes and rest, to come up with the pattern. Now, if you are an excellent pitch reader or note reader, but you have trouble counting rhythm, there is a problem. So that's why I always start with the rhythm first. Learning how to read rhythm is so important. And after we go through that, then I introduce the time signature. And then we look at patterns of rhythm based on a time. So there are different time signatures. This particular flashcard is one of 4/4. There are also the other time signatures 2/4, 3/4, 5/4, right? 6/4. And then there are, of course, others. And so after the student has learned that, then we can move on to that there are 7 letters of the music alphabet. So we go over all of that. There are exercises I do so students learn how to say their music alphabet going forward and backward and starting on any letter. Then we move into learning the clef signs for your instrument. So for piano, you're going to learn 2, the treble clef and the bass clef. For if you play viola, you will learn the alto clef. And then there's another clef too that the cello student learns, which is the tenor clef. So this video is specific to my piano students, my beginner piano students in particular. Okay, so after the clef, then we learn about the staff, and we start to learn the symbols that you see on the staff, that you see in your music book. So here is an example of my staff board. So students will, practice drawing the clef sign on their staff board. You can print out staff paper online. You can find sites it's free, and just print that out and just start practicing your clefs, and then you'll practice drawing all of the notes that you've learned and the rest that you've learned. And then we talk about how the clef signs depending on the clef it's going to affect the naming of these lines and spaces, of which there are 5 lines and 4 spaces. So depending on the clef, these lines and spaces are going to be named, and it's based on those 7 letters of the music alphabet. So after we have gone over all of that, then we're ready to move into some reinforcement using flashcards. And more specifically, at the beginning, I said I was going to talk about the pitch cards. So that's what we're going to get into now. These pitch cards. So, and for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to show the treble clef staff cards. And I'm not going to go into detail with these. I'm just here to tell you that these reinforcements, flashcards, are a good way to supplement what you are learning in your private lesson. So when you come to me, the 1 week that you do, and I give you what to practice, I tell you how to practice, we even break it down to how much time should be spent on each activity within your practice, and that includes your scales or your finger exercises, your etudes, and then your piece. And so there is an effective way to practice. You do not want to just practice on your music that you are preparing for, say, a recital or a concert or something. You've got to practice exercises, and especially at the beginner level, you are a brand new student. You need to learn how to read music. There's just no way around it. There are 2 ways that I focus on reading music. One is by ear. So we go over lots of oral training to develop your ear, how to hear. Going back to this, rhythm patterns and hearing, okay, what is the time signature and all of that stuff. And then we go into learning how to hear what the pitch sounds like. And we graduate. There are graduated levels of what I'm talking about as you progress through your lessons and through your music book. So if you are a Mayron Cole piano student, that means you are using the Mayron Cole Piano Method. It is a great method. Sorry about that. Because everything is included. You have these wonderful fun pages, which are the theory pages. You can practice writing, and the fun pages detail what you will find in the piece of music you will learn. So if you are not completing the fun pages, you are missing out. If you are not using this book correctly and effectively, you are missing out. If you are not practicing correctly, because there is such a thing, you will not grow properly. Okay, so for my beginner piano students who are learning to read music, I want to share with you this wonderful supplement to the Mayron Cole method. I will email you this. You can print out. Let me go to the beginning. These are the staff card notes or pitch card notes. Okay? Print these out. Please double-side them. And then, because the picture is on one side, the answer, which is here, is on the other. So this will be good practice for you and your young child, your young beginner, learning how to read and recall these notes. And then you can apply this learning to your music. Now, if you are in Mayron Cole Book 1, and I think it's about up to page 81, where you have been introduced to a few symbols, music symbols already. Of course, you've been introduced to the music staff. You've been introduced to this little squiggly line here that's connecting the staff. That's called a brace, by the way. You've been introduced to 4 notes in the treble clef, no, 5 notes in the treble clef by page 81, and the bass clef note middle C, which is this note. So those are the first 6 notes you should be reviewing with your beginner child. So bass clef C, treble clef C, I should say bass clef middle C, and treble clef middle C, then D, E flat, E, and F, because those are the pieces up to page 81 that have utilized those specific notes. And then as you move on in the book, then you will add on to that flashcard set. Okay? So I hope that makes sense. And we can go over this more in our lesson together. But that's pretty much what I wanted to come on and share. The benefit of using flashcards in your at-home practice.